I'm Vincent, and this is my friend Alban, a mountain guy and ice diving expert.
As two adventurers, we have come to explore the submerged faces of icebergs, these gigantic blocks of ice carried inexorably along by currents from the Arctic Ocean. We don't really know what awaits us in this secret world, but we hope to discover some fabulous creatures. To do this, we intend to kayak between the only two communities on the entire east coast of Greenland, one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. A 1,000-kilometer-long expedition through the ice with no human contact.
It's going to flip over in front of us, and then we'll be panicking.
End of August. This is when the ice melt reaches its peak. We know it's late in the season to be venturing here before the winter imprisons everything, but it's also the ideal moment to get up close to drifting icebergs and dive under the ice.
We're completely stuck.
Feels like there's no way out.
I've had enough.
The countdown has begun. It's imperative we reach our destination before the end of October, or we'll be at the mercy of the storms, the newly forming sea ice, and the polar night.
August 20th, we're ready to roll. This village may look peaceful, but the Great North has something of the Wild West about it.
Our preparations for this 2-month expedition intrigue the local kids. What have we come in search of? Adventure with a capital A. Why are we setting out? To be as carefree as these kids, to bask in freedom.
With the kayak, me and my gear, it must be 300 kilos.
Yeah, thereabouts.
The maximum load, basically.
Yeah.
Not easy, huh?
Are you gonna get it all in?
Yeah, no problem.
We're gonna have to do this every day, huh?
More like twice a day.
Yeah, right.
Hey, why don't we put some of these bullets in the rifle?
Yeah,
Maybe we should keep the others on the deck in the waterproof bag?
there's room for 5.
Better be prepared. Oh, damn. I'm not getting anywhere. For now, with our bear gun in hand, we're heading south to Tasselak. And we're off.
Hey, I'm beat. You wanna stop?
That's the last chance, now or never. I'm gonna stop or keep going.
All right, I guess we can keep on going.
All right. I'm coming with you. We'll be fine.
Damn, 1,000 kilometers.
That's right. It's crazy. It's basically nothing between the two villages. From here on in, we're on our own. Apart from our satellite link to Gigi, Geraldine, our weather girl. We're just getting started today, and not kayaking far. We're going into position at Cape Tobin, a few nautical miles south, ready for tomorrow's long crossing. Want to go over communication signs?
Yeah,
What are they again?
okay.
Okay.
And when there's a problem,
Help! Help! SOS!
break?
Break.
We're okay, huh?
Yeah, we're fine.
Sure we've got enough food?
I don't know. But I've got all the food, so I'll be all right. You go off with all your diving gear.
You'd better not abandon me, because you've got all the food and the toilet paper.
I've got the stove, the toilet paper, the food. The gas,
Yeah, except that,
sleeping bags, the tent. So,
well, I've got the computer, and I could hook up to the net one day, maybe.
come on. What are you gonna do on the net? This expedition is full of unknowns. Very few people travel this coast, so it's badly mapped. We work out our route on satellite maps, notably where to pitch camp among all the sheer cliffs awaiting us further south. The kayaks are fragile with all this additional weight. These huge stones on the bed of an old glacier could smash them to bits on the first evening. Landing's gonna be a big problem, huh?
Yeah, it isn't gonna be easy.
Shall we head for that beach over there?
It isn't ideal, but I guess it'll do.
It's gonna be tricky.
Our first landing definitely wasn't easy.
It's okay. They didn't do much damage to the kayak, those little stones.
No,
But if there are more waves and bigger rocks,
we can't land on big rocks. They'll smash the kayaks to bits.
no, for sure.
Hey, Vince, we should find a place to sleep.
All right. So that's your great spot, huh?
Look, there's nothing but stones.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard night.
Time to eat?
Yes.
Yeah, it feels really good to eat. Here, have some.
Nice restaurant. Panoramic view despite the fog. Comes down fast. See that? Just 10 minutes. There's like zero visibility.
Right, I'm gonna make my bed. That can go there.
Well, my bed's already ready. I'm gonna get in.
All right,
It's gonna be cozy. We won't be cold.
we could sleep with the door open. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd feel safer with the door closed.
Really?
We could always close the mosquito net
Yeah.
and leave the...
Yeah, and leave the door open then.
Good compromise.
Yeah, not bad. That's what I like. Me, compromises.
Because if there's a bear, at least he'll have to kick it in first.
Yeah, he'll have to knock before coming
Yeah,
in.
he'll have to knock before entering. I don't like...
Excuse me.
I don't like to have to improvise. I prefer to load the gun beforehand.
Excuse me, may I come in? No, not in here. Right? Good night.
Night, kiddies.
I just have to get myself comfy among all these stones. Oh, this is perfect.
That's 30 kilometers.
Yeah, it's a fair way.
30 kilometers. It's going to take us about 10 hours.
Right. Well, let's get a move on.
We have to cross the Scoresby Sund estuary. It's as massive as this fjord, the biggest in the world. 30 kilometers wide, 1,500 meters deep. We know it won't be a picnic being so far from the coast all day, but this stretch of sea is the only route to Cape Brewster. Geraldine informs there's a 10-hour window of fine weather before the wind picks up. That gives us just enough time to get across without any mishaps. God, the night on the shingles. Those some serious shingles.
Yeah, I can tell you didn't sleep well. Do you know why?
Because I'm moaning?
No, you didn't snore.
I didn't snore, I didn't sleep, that's why. There were stones, and then there were the bears. I was thinking, what if a bear gets in? I was looking every 5 minutes. I kept peeking through the door to see if there wasn't a big white thing coming in. We set off at 2. It said it would take 9 hours.
Yeah.
But we left 2 hours ago, and it's still saying 9 hours.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's gonna be long.
The current's getting stronger.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it.
We've got sails for just this sort of situation. That means we can take advantage of a fair wind and counter the effect of an adverse current, or simply have a rest if the opportunity to go faster presents itself.
Bye. See you later.
You have to heel over a bit and be ready
Yeah.
to let the sheets out if the wind picks up. Alban is way ahead of me, but I'm going to trim the sails and try to overtake him. The race is on.
This is great, huh?
Yeah, it's a race. I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah!
Sails are great, but ours are definitely not made to withstand the force of the wind that's picked up all of a sudden. So, it's time to drop sails. We've been paddling for 8 hours now, and we're only halfway across the fjord, and still a long way from Cape Brewster. The wind rises, 25 knots, 30 knots.
I don't like the look of the heavy swell that's forming. Our kayaks aren't made for being out so far at sea with waves like this in such cold water.
What happened?
Damn! When did you see me?
When you were surfacing and the two boards were in the air.
Did you hear me shout, Vince?
Yeah, I'd seen you about 5 seconds before, and I was making my way back.
All right, right. I felt really alone for a few seconds there.
This is hell. It's starting to get really tough.
After 16 hours paddling, we reached the south shore of Scoresby, exhausted and freezing, under the midnight sun. We have to test the gun.
Did it get wet?
Yeah, it's soaked, drenched, waterlogged. We'll have to give it a good clean tomorrow before we set off.
Yeah, but if a teddy bear turns up tonight, will it work?
I'm gonna load it, and then we'll just have to pray it works. I don't know. What do you think?
We won't sleep so well, that's all. We can arm ourselves with stones. What time is it?
12:30.
Okay.
Yeah, 12:30, and I've had it. I'm beat.
God, thought we were never going to get here.
And we've got a bit of work to do before we leave tomorrow.
Yeah, there are loads of things to dry. Mm-hmm. Because there are things that are supposed to be waterproof, but when you put them in the water, you realize that they aren't waterproof at all. Surprising, huh?
No.
Things that are supposed to be unbreakable, break. Unsinkable things sink. It's a good thing it happened on the second day, I guess, rather than halfway through. At least we know the limits of our kayaks now.
I'm bushed.
You manage in the dark?
Yeah, no problem.
Good night.
Night.
Alban's mast step broke in yesterday's violent gusts of wind, causing a leak in the hull. That's all we needed, having to patch up one of our kayaks on only the third day of our expedition. But at least we now know what we're up against. We don't have much resin left. We better not have too many repairs to do.
We decide to let our things dry at camp. It may not look like it, but it's 3 degrees Celsius. Less than a mile south of Cape Brewster, there are some huge icebergs. It's the perfect opportunity for a first dive. This coastline is famous for its many glaciers, from which these ice cathedrals have broken loose.
Not bad, huh?
It's awesome. Totally unreal.
That iceberg is going to tip over soon. See how it's tilting? It's hard to figure out how big it is. It's 30 meters, maybe? 100 meters high?
I have no idea.
For diving, it's a bit risky.
Diving under an iceberg is dangerous. It can flip over at any time. We pick a large tabular iceberg as it looks really solid. It must be 300 to 400 meters long, and to think that 9/10 of it is underwater. We set up a neat system allowing me to dive out at sea. The 2 kayaks are placed head to tail to form a kind of catamaran. It's hard to maneuver, but it's really handy.
Okay, that's fine too.
You go here.
Everything all right?
Perfect. I don't like things being easy anyways.
Well, if you're in the right place then.
For sure.
Spectacular though.
It's really incredible. I'm gonna dive underneath it. It's awesome. The icy water whips my face and makes me gasp, even though I'm in a dry suit. My instruments say it's 0 degrees Celsius. Anxiety is the first word that comes to mind. Sublime, the second. This never-ending wall makes me feel dizzy. Free fall. I glide along this giant indigo wall shaped by the sea into cupules as far as the eye can see. The wall is split by a crack of clear ice. It's as if I can see the iceberg's heart through this translucent window and feel it beating. The water is filled with microscopic particles, clouding visibility. After a tiny amphipod, life takes on the strangest forms in these icy waters. This ctenophor's 8 rows of bioluminescent cilia reflect and diffract the beams of my lights. One of the most amazing Arctic creatures of all is the sea angel, or sea butterfly. This small, legendary being seems to rule this world. Then, an Arctic comb jelly, or sea nut, swims up. A ctenophore whose filaments are filled with phytoplankton, unicellular organisms, and protists. It dives toward the abyss, from where the ethereal Arctic jellyfish surges.
block has broken away. I hope Alban wasn't underneath it. I can see blocks drifting over there. You have to be really careful. There's no warning sign. Plus, with the rebreather, there are no bubbles, so it's hard to follow his movements.
After 45 minutes underwater, the cold cuts straight through me. As I swim to the surface and see this block bobbing about in the water, I realize where the muffled sound I heard earlier came from. I was lucky. I feel tiny among all these floating chunks of ice. The ice is very thick, hundreds of thousands of tons calved off. That's why this adventure is so dangerous. I had a narrow escape this time.
Wow. I heard it crack when I was underwater. I thought there was a problem with my bottle. Then I looked at the surface, but couldn't see anything. What did you see?
I saw it crack over there. See that rounded section there?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you have to be really aware.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better to dive in the morning like we're doing before it gets too warm.
Yeah, it's totally awesome down there. There were loads of jellyfish and sea angels and ctenophores all over the place.
It's hard to share such an experience, even with Vincent, just as it might be hard for him to explain the solitude he feels on the surface, the weight and the anxiety knowing he can do nothing if the iceberg collapses. As for me, I've discovered a whole new world under the icebergs, a vast, bewitching world. I can't wait to go back.
Since leaving Etoko to meet, we've covered 100 or so kilometers southwards. We were only crossing Scoresby Sund when a violent wind rose up, a warning of what lies in store, and Alban almost didn't make it to the other side. It's late August, and we're only at the start of our expedition, but we can't wait to start doing battle with the ice. This is what's awaiting us to the south, a sea full of brash ice fallen from the glaciers.
The wind is picking up. Dad, we'd better try to get out of here before it gets too compact and we get stuck.
We'll need to be extra vigilant every second.
We're following the bear's trail.
We're going to come face to face with it. We won't be laughing then.
Yay, it works.
The problems will get worse, forcing me to take a bath in water at -1 degree Celsius. But when we think we've reached our limits, reward will be waiting.
Alban will even make a childhood dream come true, partnering the king of the Arctic in an amazing underwater dance. As for me, I hope to see with my own eyes Tasselak plunged into polar night.